know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Okay, let's see if we are actually live. There we are. Okay. All right, here we go. Maybe I should push this back. There we go. Your mic might be a little.
Oh, is it? Yeah. So the mic's only going to get so good.
No, it's great. No, it's
Okay,
great.
awesome.
Okay. No, you don't talk for a second here. Okay. Now I bet you can hear me okay. All right, good. So sorry about that, guys. Actually, let's swap places real fast here.
Okay.
This way I can, I'll be used to kind of what I'm normally
Okay.
seeing here. Okay, so welcome every...
Uh-oh.
Wow, everything's going weird. Welcome everybody. Okay, you should be able to see and hear me now, and say something for
Hey.
the folks. Okay, so you should be able to hear Ann pretty well. You should be able to hear me okay.
Welcome to Baxter's class recreated.
Okay, cool. This is our camera right here. This is kind of tough.
Okay.
Normally we're looking. Actually, maybe we'll
Normally, yeah.
bring this guy over here. So
Might
it'll
be
a little bit-
normal.
A little bit
It's
easier.
not being normal.
Okay, so welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us, Kelly, Amy, sweet, Jennifer,
Yay.
nice to see you guys, Corinne, cool, everybody, Kelly, nice. If you're here for the first time, even if you're just passing through, like on Facebook, I don't know why it's not broadcasting to my personal page. Hardly anybody watches me there anymore. It's usually more of a discovery thing. If you're not already, the best place to watch, especially tonight, is going to be on YouTube, because Ann's put a playlist together. It's great, but it has some songs that would normally get us kicked off of Facebook in about 15 minutes. So, so Ann's mic is echoey.
Okay.
That's because it's coming through.
Closer.
It's because I'm using a microphone too.
Right.
So actually, we can
I understand.
we could turn your mic down just for a second. Okay. I don't think it'll be as echoey. I'm using a mic that might be creating the echo here, guys, but I'm not going to be on the mic very much. So anyway, what I do want to say really quickly before we get started, and then I'm going to give you the floor, let you set up the class and do all of that. But if you don't know, Ann is raising money for a Kickstarter to self-publish her own book. And the book is called The Tao of the Hoop.
The Tao of Hoop.
The Tao of Hoop. And I read an earlier copy of it, and I'm halfway through the second copy, and I think it's a great book. And she's doing a Kickstarter. You can leave any donation, but if you leave a $10 donation, you get a copy of the book. So we're trying to, really make this happen. It's hard to take a book about hooping out into the world and find somebody that wants to drop a lot of money to push it out. And so we're doing this the homegrown way, or she's doing it the homegrown way. I have nothing to do with it. I do want to go ahead and thank Louisa. Louisa has already given $30.
Thank you, Louisa.
To Ann specifically. All the donations tonight, if you
so
make
much.
them like through my stuff, they're going to go to Ann. But I'm also going to, I don't have it right now, I'm going to pull up the link to her actual Kickstarter. Actually, maybe I should do that now.
Baxter's a tech whiz, if you didn't know, if you couldn't tell. I can attest to that now.
Do you think you could pull it up while I finish setting that class up for them? Because I just realized that when I restarted the computer. Anyway, and then, so a couple more announcements that I want to make. On Monday night, we'll have our regular class, and then after class at 8:30, we're gonna I'm bringing back the Future Hero podcast, which I'm stoked about. But I'm gonna kick it off and bring it back with a live streamed interview or conversation with me and Ann about their. The Kickstarter goes on for another week,
Here it is,
and okay, so I'll go ahead. This is the. Okay. Here is the link to the Kickstarter itself. Now, if you don't know anything about Kickstarters, it's a little bit of poker, right? Like, or not poker in the sense of deception, but if she doesn't make her goal, she doesn't get a dime. She did not set a stretch and other goals, so she just has one goal. And so if we don't get that goal, she doesn't get a dime. So we're hoping that we can get that goal. She's looking pretty good. I'm pulling for her when I say we. That's all I mean. This is all her project. I have nothing to do with this.
Well, that's not true, because it couldn't have happened without you.
Okay. All right. Well, so I'm going to bow out now. I'm going to let Ann set up the class for you. And thank you, guys. I will be back teaching on Monday night, and then we will have a live stream class after that. So
A live stream podcast.
Yep.
So, I'm on now. Yay. Hi. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, Baxter, for making this so incredibly professional and really amazing and wonderful to interact with. And thank you for being my inspiration and my guide. Way back when. Of course, we all begin to find our own path. And one of the things that I loved most about the Hoop Path was that it was about finding your own path and finding your own rhythm and really tuning into the inner space inside the body. And as many of you know, but some of you don't, I went to my first Hoop Path class in 2005 here in North Carolina. And I only went because I had a crush on Baxter. That was the only reason why. And I wasn't interested in hooping at all. And actually, I wasn't even going to go to the class, but my friend Kimwan, who some of you knew, convinced me to go with him. And the fact of the matter was that I couldn't hula hoop at all. And I had never been able to. And I had tried as a child, as a very young child, and the failure was very painful. I can remember even a specific incident about a specific trauma around hula hooping that happened when I was about 5. And so I had really not wanted to go near a hula hoop since then. And I thought it was just, I don't know. I didn't understand adults who hula hooped, but I hadn't thought of, not that I never gave it a moment's thought. But then I saw Baxter at Weaver Street one day, and then a few days later I met him with Kimwan, and then we ended up in this class about, just a few days later. And the revelation about big hoops was major. And some of you, surely many of you have had that revelation or have felt that revelation. And tonight I actually did not, as you can see, bring a big hoop, but I brought my bigger hoop. So this is my sort of, 2010 to 2020 green hoop. But I'm going to be using that for core hooping. But we're going to be doing a lot of core hooping tonight. So whatever hoop feels really comfortable on your core. And I put out a couple of announcements about this. This is going to be hard to keep on my head. But if you have a blindfold, we're going to do our first exercise blindfolded. And some of you, I want to just describe a little bit of the class to you and then just bring us into movement. Yeah. We met in a circle on the floor, and Baxter started telling a story about hoopers, and that also really grabbed me because I had been very interested and invested in myths and stories and poems and understanding the world in that way. And he started telling this myth about who the first hoopers might have been. And he described them as a tribe of holy women. As this order, he actually described it as an order of women who, by virtue of their dance, brought together this inner rhythm that bound the world together. And when he said it, this was, minutes after I had just first learned to hula hoop with the big hoop and super awkwardly kind of getting it around, and I was amazed that could even happen. But into this rhythm, I found myself able to step, and I found myself, as soon as he said that phrase, or described these women moving with this rhythm, it came to me, and I said to myself, I am one of these women, which made no sense because I had just learned to hoop moments ago. Yet I felt that I was stepping into and living in and inhabiting that rhythm. And for me, tools that really bring that out of my body that I learned from Baxter so many years ago still work, which are the blindfold and the bigger hoop, maybe a bigger hoop that moves a little more slowly. So whenever y'all are, whenever we're ready, I'm just gonna start. Oh yeah, sorry. I keep not being able to understand which computer's mine because there's all this computer stuff going on here. So this playlist, just to say one brief thing about the playlist. This is a playlist that, yay, Tara's here. Okay, the gang's all here, just right as we start the music, yay. So this playlist is lovingly brought together out of these songs that we used to listen to back in the day when we were learning, or when I was learning how to hoop from Baxter and with Baxter and with Chemo. And we had, we made many playlists for each other. So did some digging today, and these are some of our old faves. So we're gonna sway together, and get your blindfold. I'm gonna, see if I can fit this blindfold over this mic apparatus, and just move as you feel. Really try to go from that inner place and that inner feeling, and remember, it's all gonna be exactly what needs to happen. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna move with y'all as long as I can keep this mic. Actually, this is gonna help keep the mic on. Maybe I should just be blindfolded the whole class. Come into your body, come in to your joints. Come into the soles of your feet. And feel how the soles of your feet are connected to that inner rhythm that binds the world together. Through the physical connection of the feet to the floor. You are connected already. You are already connected. You don't even have to try. Just drop into the feet. Let that rhythm come into your body. That ancient rhythm that drew the Maidan order together. The first hoopers. Feel the rhythm.
All that you have. All that you give.
Feel the rhythm coming up through the soles of the feet, into the ankles, into the knees, into the hips, into the spine. Let the spine twist. The shoulders, the neck, the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, the toes. Oh, I have a friend.
You hear me raining. Yes. You hear me raining. Raining.
Okay.
You see me crying.
Come into your whole body.
I'm breathing from my head down.
Let your movement pour forth.
All that you are, all that you have, all that you have, all that you give, all
Breathing steady
all that you give.
and deep.
All that you give, all that you give.
Feeling the soles of the feet, the connection to the core rhythm that binds the world together. Wow, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I do need to retire this, I think. I mean, or I guess I could wear it until, but yeah. Well, maybe I should keep wearing it until I have to move again.
Oh, well, you can use that.
Okay, maybe I should. Yeah, this is just driving me crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is off now. Thank you, Bill. Awesome. So if
Make sure
anybody
they can
had,
hear you.
you know, I don't know if I can see or read questions. If anybody has questions,
Nobody has questions so
Okay.
far. Everybody's just saying.
yeah,
that
let me
we're
know
happy
if
to be
any
here. Yeah,
if
sure.
anybody's confused.
Yeah.
I hope some people felt their feet, and we're gonna keep talking about the feet and legs. So that was something, you know, along with the big hoop, it was a big revelation to me that it was actually the legs that made the hoop go round. So in Bax's early classes, we would also talk a lot about our legs and feet and dropping into our feet and feeling the rhythm. You know, Bax was very big on talking about feeling. And one of the things that he used to talk about a lot that really made a deep impression on me was that beauty is a feeling. And he really tuned me into my subjective experience and valuing that for what it is. And actually the big hoop and the blindfold really symbolize that like, you know, my subjective experience is enough to give my attention to and to lavish my attention on, in fact. So we can lavish our attention, move our attention around the body, and it can be really exciting with the hoop kind of, you know, inviting you to you know, your senses to pick up. And the blindfold, if any of these, you know, exercises you want to do with the blindfold, we have found over the years, many years of blindfolded hooping, it does perk up your senses, and it helps you like come to, your senses come to life, your sense of touch. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what Baxter used to call, and tell me how I can be heard. I want to demonstrate some of this.
I think you're fine.
Okay, but just like, you know, obviously I can be super loud. But we all know that. Loud and occasionally wrong. So wanted to talk about one tree and two tree hooping. So Baxter, along with this myth, had these beautiful metaphors that were from nature. And this metaphor was super helpful about one. Tara's just peeking through the forest as we talk about the trees. Yeah, no, it's perfect. So, but it was very useful to come into, because there's different ways, you know, of one tree versus two tree hooping. So I'm going to just begin physically showing without the hoop, and I really should have brought a big hoop for this. But one tree hooping is a kind of locomotion of the hoop where you there is a center, a single center of push. There's, you know, you're really following that path of 360 degrees only with the center of your body, and you're not using your legs. You're not engaging the legs. You're keeping the legs together, and you're kind of using the excuse me, the middle body as more of the locomotion power, which is actually when people talk to me about hula hooping, they're always like, oh, you know, you need to use your hips. And I'm always saying, no, you need to hoop from your legs, really. You use your hips. But one tree hooping is a little bit more of like hooping from the hips. because you're keeping the legs rooted. So it does, get you into your side body, and it can open and free this area, which is great. So let's try just a little bit. Take your bigger hoop and, definitely blindfold as needed. And try a little bit of this one tree hooping. And, if it's too uncomfortable to do like feet totally together, maybe just feet a little, maybe just closer, maybe a little bit closer than hip width, and try to kind of really get on a singular path with the body. And you can just free the arms for now. We're going to talk about the arms later. And so another thing that Bax did in the early days, which I liked a lot, was he would focus on a certain phrase of movement and then later on allow it all to flow together, so that we could look really closely at these sort of units of movement. And one tree hooping was something, an example of, maybe you'll never be performing and just be standing there like, hey, this is one tree hooping, but it's something that if you learn, you're going to really broaden your latitude of how you can move with a hoop. And it's finding that single embodied center. They're kind of like, I often would think of it as similar to the namaste position in yoga, kind of the irreducible hula hoop position where you're just pushing the hoop around with your center, with a single embodied center, one tree hooping. And of course, hoop path tradition, we all know we're gonna go opposite current, or second favorite direction, as Nayeli once wonderfully said. And I have loved ever since, because it's also, Bax and I can also attest, is that, as you go forward, your currents sort of start to melt away. It's like, at one time it was like such a big deal. Is this my first or second current? Like, can I do this in second current? But if you do it long enough, it really becomes, I think, a lot more like a flowing Tao, because you don't have to think about like which direction is the hoop going or whatever. So this is an example of that. So notice if you're significantly struggling more on that other side, and just know that you want to spend more time with that, and even super simple like this. So let's do a song with just one tree hooping. And I don't want that to mean that you can't move around, but think about, instead of moving around the floor, which we will do in a moment, you can think about gently turning with the hoop, with the feet closer together with one tree hooping. So if you are struggling standing still, you can add in a gentle turn. But let's try to keep the feet together and keep that single center going. And yeah, we're going to do this one. Tom, this is one of your faves. I was really like, oh, where did I go? Okay, perfect. Yay.
As gravity is to every human, as the earth is to the trees, I could drift away from your love because it's implanted in my memory. There was some uncertainty.
Thank you, Danielle. We can't wait to read it either. It's good to see you here. Tonight, Ann is teaching the class. That's Tara over there in the corner, and Ann's teaching her first hoop class with me before it was called the Hoop Task.
I hope people were feeling their center. You know, I noticed, did you have any thoughts or responses?
I just appreciate going, I don't think they can hear me, but I
Okay.
just appreciate going back to that, that one tree, just, it's a workout.
Tara's saying she's appreciating how that going back to one tree is a kind of a workout. And I think, yeah, I can totally, like keeping your center of gravity in your center and not using steps and turns. And I found myself kind of, you know, just lapsing into two-tree hooping a few times, because it's so ingrained. Because so here, as we'll experience here in a moment, we're going to change up our song beat a little bit, and we're going to explore two-tree hooping, which most of us are already doing probably a lot of anyway. But what's wonderful about two-tree, and I'll step back and speak louder again. So that is when we can separate the sides of the body out and feel that weight shift. So over the years, as I've hula hooped so much and sort of put so much attention on it, to me, hula hooping has the exact same engine as walking and running. It's just an equal weight shift from side to side. That's what gives it its dynamic power. That we have this intrinsic sense of rhythm as creatures, and that we can bring that to bear. And so two-tree hooping, when we're, we can have our imaginary hoop again, you can do that. I mean, I think it's a great idea to do it with the imaginary hoop. Maybe it feels super silly, but go for it. Hey, we're hula hoopers. So, but I do like to feel into the feet, especially without a hoop, and just, you can really feel into your two trees by widening the circle that your root chakra is making, the circle or the spiral, and thinking about like coming fully, just by having the feet separated a bit, you can really make that circle much bigger. And you notice, there's a kind of there's a limit. There's only so far apart. You don't want to be too far apart. You want to, maybe be under your hip bones. But let's add a hoop and see how that feels. And we can also add steps and turns. Or actually, I'll just hold my hoop for a moment while. So, in addition to widening that circle and inhabiting both sides of the body, you now can also think about adding your steps, which will become your turns. And I like to think about it as whatever direction the hoop is going, you're stepping that foot back. The opposite foot, you're going forward. So if your hoop's going to the left, you're stepping the left foot back and the right foot forward. And you can do that. You can make those steps tiny. You can make them very infrequent. You know, I think sometimes people want to just start turning like this right away. Just remember, building up to it is a lot easier. So if you have that sense of your steps, you can start your hoop going, and then maybe try just at first just shifting your weight from side to side. So seeing if that action feels pretty comfortable in your hoop. And again, if you want to try your blindfold or a bigger hoop, just so you feel like you can comfortably shift the weight from side to side. Then you can start thinking about, okay, what direction is my hoop going? Let's get in tune with that. Okay, then that foot, I'm going to step that foot back. It might just be a tiny step. Then I'm going to stop, or pause rather, not stop, but pause, and just kind of reestablish my rhythm. Then I know now that my opposite foot, I'm going to take a little step forward. And what I'm really going to try to do is match those two steps to one another. I'm going to try to make them the same size and shape and duration and rhythm. You know, remembering that those symmetrical rhythms are what the hoop likes. So it doesn't matter how big the steps are. It doesn't matter how fast the steps are. It matters that they're symmetrical, and it matters that you are still in your flow. So going slow, taking little steps, and then for those of you who have experience with turning, you can work on staying in the center and really noticing some of the finer geometry of your movement. You can really, like for me, I had a big leap forward when I spent a lot of time just simply core hooping with my blindfold on in both directions. And I really noticed in my second current that my backward step was just much shorter. So we can really fine tune with the blindfold and with the big hoop into some of our habits, some of our movement habits that might not be serving our hoop as best they could. So changing currents, and excuse me, I sort of leapt right into turning. So shifting back and forth on your two trees, and again, it might feel super different in your opposite current. But then you can start, once you feel comfortable, then you can start thinking about taking a little step. Okay, so now it's going to be the opposite foot steps back because your hoop is going in the opposite direction. So that foot is going to step back. It might be a really small step. Opposite foot steps forward. Back, forward. And just follow your own rhythm, you know, with a big hoop, with a gentle giant, I like to call them. You have time to take your time. So yeah, take your time. Let's do let's do a song, and we'll just be working with our two trees, shifting weight, trying to turn with the hoop, turning with the current. This is a super fun new song that I just found. Blimp, blimp, blimp. I think you're gonna like it, Timmy.
Doing great.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Wait, did it?
That takes me back, and I let go. So much freedom. I'm gonna get, 'cause it's my freedom. I love how you talk, you speak in my language. The way that you walk, you can't contain it. Is it the shoes? Jumping kangaroo? We're overdue. For a little more present. Now it's your time. You can shine. If you do, I'ma do too. When I move my body just like this, I don't know why, but I feel like freedom. I hear a song that takes me back, and I let go with so much freedom. I'm gonna get, 'cause it's my freedom. Get down and to get back up. If someone's around, let him look. You can't stand still. This ain't no drill, more than cheap thrill. Now it's your time.
Thank y'all so much. Wait, no, wait. Can you stop it, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Thank you. Okay. All right. Sorry. That was, that's coming up next. So, okay, so now we've opened up all this space inside the hoop by separating into our two trees and moving. And so we create, when we allow ourselves to move and step with the hoop, turn with the hoop, we can create more space, and that means we can create more space within which to dance. And so on that first class that I did, what?
Sorry.
Did I mess something up? Oh. In that first class, also, that same night, Baxter described the two birds dance. So for those of you who have never done that exercise, it is a Maidan ritual. So a ritual of the Maidan order, wherein they observe the flight of birds and listen and tune into the rhythms of the flights of birds with their hands as these vehicles. And for me, that was really a life-changing thing, because that, even more than the hoop, is what showed me that metaphor can be danced, which was something that was not available to me before that, but it was something that I needed. I needed dance and I needed movement, but I didn't have a portal exactly. I had just these strangely shaped portals, as we all have, kind of these weird restricted access. But so in this next exercise, I just invite everybody to find that inner space, that creativity, and that vision to see the birds and to follow the birds with your hands. And, if the blindfold helps, for me, of course, the blindfold really helped that process. So try the blindfold, try the big hoop, finding that space, because there was, for me, around my body, like new space opened up that night, because I found this creative space that I hadn't recognized before. And so yeah, it's Flying Your Birds. And this was the song that in my memory you played that night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's just, and who doesn't love India.Arie? My God, So I want to take this back to the beginning. Okay.
Still big hoops hand.
Yeah, we're going to stay on the core. I'm pretty much planning on staying on the core, so whatever core hoop feels most comfy.
Okay.
Awesome. Flying Your Birds.
One shot to your heart without breaking your skin. No one has the power to hurt you like your kin. Kept it inside, didn't tell no one else. Didn't even wanna admit it to yourself. And now your chest burns and your back aches from 15 years of holding the pain. And now you only have yourself to blame if you continue to live this way. Get it together. You wanna heal your body. Get it together. You have to heal your heart. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Get it together. You can fly, fly. Dark future ahead of me, that's what they said. I'd be starving if I ate all the lies they fed. 'Cause I've been redeemed from your anguish and pain. A miracle child, I'm floating on a cloud. 'Cause the words that come from your mouth, you're the first to hear. Speak words of beauty and you will be there. No matter what anybody says, what matters most is what you You have to heal your heart, yeah. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Get it together. The choice is yours, no matter what it is. To choose life is to choose to forgive. You don't have to try and hurt him.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Everybody that's here, we appreciate it. Sarah, thank you for your comments. It's hard for Ann to read the comments because I'm blocking them on the monitor. But it's great to have you guys here, and we really do appreciate it. Ann is working hard to raise money to publish a book, so she is guest teaching and trying to see if we can make this happen.
That ugly duckling grew up to be a swan, and now your chest burns and your back aches because now the years are showing up on your face. But you'll never be happy and you'll never be whole until you see the beauty in growing old. Get it together. You wanna heal your body. Get it together. You have to heal your heart. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Oh, you wanna heal your body. You have to heal your heart, yeah. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Ooh, you can fly, 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 fly. You can live or you can die. You know that life is a choice you make. You can't give or you can't take. You can fly, 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 fly. You can fly, 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 fly. You can fly, 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 fly.
Dancing to her ever. Oh my God. Hope everybody's feeling good. It's so weird not to be able to see anybody or interact. But I so appreciate that y'all are here. Thank you. Okay. I really want to do this one. Okay. Let's talk about bringing those two things together and really trying to synchronize maybe, or at least echo, the movement of the two birds with now the movement of your feet. So this is a two bird, two tree, and another classic hoop path exercise where we stepped into both sides of the body and began to also try to move in more complex ways and move, you know, in a greater flow that included more than one limb at a time. And we would sometimes call this tracing. So and especially with the feet or legs, I'm going to step back a bit so I can show you. So tracing, you know, also using the legs kind of like two birds, but you can bring those together as you're moving with the hoop. I'm just demoing without the hoop at first, ways that you can bring your two trees and your two birds together. So we would talk about, okay, maybe I'm going to, you know, lift the same arm and leg together, but maybe the next time I'm going to lift the opposite, you know, things like that. You can give yourself interesting little exercises to do with that. It's a broad frame. And this song, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Amy just commented, negative space outside the hoop. I don't know if you can read the comment.
Oh, negative space.
Outside the hoop, practice.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. You're there. You're feeling it. And then, so I wanted to invite us into that space to moving our hands, our arms, and our legs together you know, that can also mean like flying your hands together and apart, but just also thinking about the link between the feet and the hands, the legs and the arms. Seeing if you can find any waves of movement that you can follow as you expand the space around you. And this song, I was really excited to find this song when I was making my playlist today. And I wanted to dedicate it, I'm dedicating it tonight to Bax and Tara.
Oh.
I got a real good warm up now. Someone between a lover and a friend. It feels good when she's around. And she's so far from all the others that I've been with. 'Cause I thought I knew what love was, but it wasn't until she came and changed my life. Now I realize that all love in this world I wanna give to this girl, because she makes me wanna be a better man. And all the games I play all till the end, because I know this one's gonna last. It's crazy how she makes me wanna be a better man. When I look into her eyes, I see so much in her that reminds me of myself. And oh, she's so beautiful, body, soul, and mind. And I just wanna be the one to make her feel good in a special way. I'm a hug and tell her how much so yeah. Because I know that I will never find another one like her at all. In this world, I wanna give to this girl. Yeah, yeah. She makes me wanna be a better. She makes me wanna be a better man. I play all because I know this one's gonna last. It's crazy how she makes me wanna be a better man. Listen, when it's said and done, you wanna be with someone who's gonna be there for you when all your chips are down and no one's around. And when no matter how hard it gets, she will always be by your side. Come from you like only a woman knows. And that's why this world I wanna give to this girl, because she makes me wanna be a better man. And all I'm getting is I play all that lies. I know this one's gonna last. It's crazy how she makes me wanna be a better man. And all in this world I want to give. She makes me wanna be a better man. She makes I play all that lies, because I know this one's gonna last. It's crazy how she makes me wanna be a better man.
Oh my God. Music Soul Child. Music Soul Child. Oh,
Oh, sweet.
Long may he live. So I'm just going to pause us for a minute and see, are there any questions? Are there any burning questions or anything before we play our play out song?
There haven't been any questions.
Okay.
I think people are just having a good time stopping in.
Okay.
What's up?
Yay. Well, yeah, I think we're about out of time here. Oh, I guess we have another minute. Oh, I know what I wanted to mention about the last exercise was that for me personally, I was finding a lot of interesting new sensations touching my legs, you know, through the, like not only trying to move my arms and legs in concert, but actually making contact. And I felt some new contact points. And that was really exciting for me. And I was loving working with my old hoop. That was a little bit bigger, and I've just started taking it with me more often, and I've really appreciated working with the bigger hoop, which I'm constantly recommending to everybody, even as my hoop is like, you know, my daily hoop or whatever is tiny. But yeah, well maybe, you know what, let's do this last exercise. This was a surprise, so we'll just, you know, since we started at 7:05, we'll keep on going. And this is something that Tara might have done before, but it's an exercise we used to do with Baxter called hot coals.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was bringing the two-tree concept and adding this other layer. And again, I'll back up. So, you know, instead of just moving from tree to tree, we're really trying to minimize, you know, the length of time we're on the floor. So really, you know, trying to get the knees up. And that, actually, if you're interested in making contact with the legs, getting the knees up is one of the main things that you need to learn how to do. So we can do this golden hoop path oldie, which is so great, you know, for also kind of like getting you jazzed up and getting your energy up, yeah. So hot coals, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna go for another Musiq Soulchild because he's, gosh, so great. So yeah, and then maybe we'll just play one kind of close out slow song, and then maybe we can all just have like a little free hoop with Bob at the end. Okay, so hot coals. Just get off the get off the floor.
Hey girl, help me know what is it that really does it for you? Is it all about the things that money buys or a man that loves you? Cause I'm just looking at how good you look, and right away I wanna. So how do you want it? Yeah, cause I could do it fast or slow, either at the crib or at the mall. Now I could keep you up all night, or we could make it quick, but do it just right. So come with me, we could have a good time, take a load off your mind. Just dance with me, baby, you never know, you and I could be so girl. I can be anything that you want, I could forget a love. So what's it gonna be that I could make you happy? Now I don't know what you expect from a man these days, but girl, I just know that whatever it is, I got you. Listen, baby, you won't never. Anytime you want me, look, call me up when you need someone to play with or be serious with you. And give it to you. Or I could just come in and be the perfect gentleman, whatever you want. Come with me.
I think she is having fun tonight.
Dance with me, baby, you never know, you and I could be so girl. I can be anything that you want, I could forget a love. So what's it gonna be that I could make you happy? If you tell me what you like, I can give it to you right. Either way, it's all the same to me. Just don't be playing no games with me. I only got one night in town, baby, so I suggest you let me know if you down, baby. Tell your girlfriends that you gon' see them later. Tell your boyfriends don't be a hater. And girl, come with me, we can have have a good time. Take a load off your mind and yours. With me, yeah. You never know. You and I can
Hot coals, hot coals. You're keeping your feet from being burned by moving your feet a lot. The idea of hot coals is to keep your feet moving the whole time, just like Tara's doing, just like Anne's.
Take a load off your mind and just dance with me. Oh yeah, you never know. You and I could be something. I can forget alone. That I could make you.
Yay! Okay, so that's great. That was perfect because. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm exhausted. I hope everybody's exhausted. Yeah. Didn't practice that one. Woo! But yeah, so that was, that's really like a primer on my hoop path experience. In that first, I really took about 4 or 5 classes in a row, and so some of those exercises I found in later classes, but that first, month or so of classes, obviously it had an indelible impact on me, and I'm so grateful. And so I want to play this song by our heroine, hero of whatever gender, Michelle Indegiacello. And please, just consider this a free hoop, whatever you want. And Bob, if you want a hoop, come and hoop.
Thank you, Carla. We appreciate it. Hot coals is very tiring. If you're still on your feet, you're impressive.
Trying to
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tara and Baxter.
I don't know if I got you right. Okay. Okay, so wait, I don't know if I got you just now.
Let's see here. Say something. Let's see if we got.
Hey.
Oh, okay. I think.
Bye-bye.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Say goodbye one more time.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. And thank you, Tara and Baxter. This was incredibly awesome. Incredibly awesome. And so I'm going to be doing a beginner class Saturday at noon. And then we're going to be doing our live podcast Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. And then on Tuesday evening, I'm going to do a live reading, a short reading from the Tao of Hoop. Yeah. So, hope to see you there.
Thank you, Tiff. Thank you for Jennifer, everybody for tuning in tonight. We super duper appreciate it, and I hope you have a great night.